who knows? I might be all about the cock crow now. That sounded so weird. Practice video. Joy. Hi everybody, I'm violinist Kwon and welcome back to my channel. We are living in a crazy season right now. This coronavirus outbreak has created such a ripple effect in this entire world, and it is finally here in the United States. This COVID-19 has created lots of fear, panic, concern, confusion. It has called all of us into isolation, which means the most impactful thing for musicians right now is cancellations. This is so crazy to me because just 6 days ago, my duo and I presented Women Honoring Women concert for International Women's Day. It's so crazy to me to think that that's the last performance I'm gonna give until at least the fall, because everything between today and I think June has now been canceled. I was supposed to perform on March 27th, April 1st, April 6th, and then I was supposed to spend over a week in Canada, British Columbia, on tour for a violin duo program up there, and all of it has basically come to a cancel, on top of, you know, orchestra job gigs. And the email a few days ago was all orchestra events have been canceled for at least now for the next month. I just got an email today saying that it is now TBA. We don't think that it's going to be over in a month, that we're just basically on notice. But for sure, wedding gigs, events, corporate jobs, all of that has gone out the window, has now been canceled. I think until June for sure. The last cancellation is June. And now for the fall, for my performances in September and October, those are just on standstill right now. One of them is for my degree, but no music school is ready for this kind of situation. It's so crazy to see that the United States was ready for nuclear war. We have plans in place in case, you know, we go to DEFCON 1, but no one was prepared. No university was prepared, or school, high school or elementary school was prepared for a biological outbreak like this. But, you know, I'm glad that everyone is now on the same page and trying to, like, every country is just working together to try to contain and protect their elders and their children and their citizens from this outbreak, from this horrible virus. But as a musician, it's really been impactful. However, I am extremely grateful, I'm so grateful, thank you Jesus, that my students have not been affected. All students have now become Skype students, including the one that lives down the street. We have all become Skype family. And because everyone is staying at home, the numbers have increased in Skype requests. So I'm very grateful. Thank you everyone. If you guys want to do a Skype lesson with me, ta-da! You can DM me on my Instagram or email me here and we can schedule a lesson for you. I offer lessons of all different levels for every single budget, so feel free to inquire about the lessons. I think this is really important for students to have some kind of sense of stability, a constant in their life that stays the same week by week by week, no matter what is happening in the world. Like, school is crazy, home life is crazy, you can't go out anymore, you can't even go to the movies anymore. I think there's a lot of confusion, especially with the kids. So I think offering them this kind of stability with lessons, weekly lessons and stuff like that, also gives them a emotional outlet to express how they're feeling through music and art. So parents, if you're watching, please keep them in lessons, keep them in their art classes, their music classes. If they can't go to dance, and have them dance at home and do like their choreography at home and practice at home. Give them that space and time, because it really is a way for them to communicate things that they can't communicate with words. So the arts, please keep supporting the arts through these trying times. So I told you how the COVID-19 is affecting some musicians, but for me, I'm also a doctorate student, which means I was scheduled to fly to Boston next week, but I just got the announcement today that finally, 3 days before the exam, my school has decided to cancel, because even though school had gone virtual, they just announced they're going to go virtual because people are flying in from spring break and they're like, oh, that's not a good idea. So the classes have gone virtual, but for these doctor exams that's only offered once every 6 months maybe, that we would still have to fly in, like they were still scheduled. The dean has now declared it canceled, postponed, until they can figure out what to do with it, because there's just no way that no one was prepared for something like this. So what does this mean, people? What does it mean when I'm not studying for 5 hours a day and in rehearsals or working for 5-6 hours a day and only teaching 5 hours a day? It means now, for the first time in over my life, not even a decade, my life, I have 10 hours a day free. Do anything I want. What? I can't believe I've never had this much free time. I'm so excited for my life. So obviously first thing you think is Netflix, binge, hot Cheetos, pajamas. And then I went, Grace, wait, let's get out your book of all the stuff that you said you wanted to do if you had the free time. And I have the top 2 things, projects. I have like a top 10 list. And the top 2 I wanted to start to this year because 2020 is a very special year, especially for project 1. So I decided instead of binge watching, 400 episodes of Running Man or, Netflixing Vampire Diaries, I thought maybe it's good time to like practice and get back to the world that I love so much that is outside of work, So the first project I'm going to launch today with this video. And then the second project I will announce via my Patreon page. My Patreon page just launched this week, 2 days ago. Please go check it out. There's so many perks for every level and a level for every budget. So please go check it out. The Patreon page includes high quality downloads. And I mean high quality meaning my engineer is like Grammy award winning classical engineer. He did the Bonsoir. That's for digital download. It's not available anywhere else, not even on my website right now. Just for my Patreon Violin fam. There'll be teaching videos, practice videos, exclusive to Patreon and early access videos. And there'll be lots of talk about interpretation and performance practice. I think that's going to be very important for this next project I'm entering into. Also, the big bonus I think for my Patreon page is the Teacher Grace exercise and Teacher Grace videos. I make these exercises for my students, students who struggle between songs or between books. I make custom-made exercises for them, which I will make available for monthly download. And lots of teaching videos like how to teach, beginners, how to teach a bow hold, how to teach vibrato, how to teach, how to have better vibrato, how to have various vibratos, or, like lots of how-to videos, obviously, like how to learn this concerto, how to address this passage in the Sibelius, how do I get the octaves in the Mendelssohn, how to get the Tchaikovsky cadenza. So lots of videos over the next course of this year. It's not like a one-time thing. It's a continuous membership and a continuous relationship between me and my patrons. And you guys can ask for anything you want on patrons. And I will now, with this free time, do my absolute very best to meet those requests. But now, for this YouTube, for this announcement, for the very first project, my #1 thing I wanted to do this year is the Beethoven Project! Yay! 2020 is the 250-year anniversary of Beethoven's birth. And I've been wanting to do the Beethoven, like just do all 10 of the Beethoven sonatas, either for one concert, like wows, one concert, or in one year and present them either to live concerts or like even videos. That has been on my list for like years. Like if I didn't have time before, I was like in 2020, I'm gonna make it happen. And ta-da! Now we have 10 hours a day to work on the Beethoven project. So here is the list of the Beethoven sonatas. Beethoven Sonata #1 is in D major, Opus 12. Opus 12 has 3 sonatas in one set. These are all stuff that I will talk about on the history videos, interpretation videos, and performance practice videos that will be available through my Patreon. And if you guys really want access to those videos, I can make them early access on Patreon and then still put them up on this channel maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. So Sonata #1 in D major, I learned as a freshman at New England Conservatory of Music. So that'll be really fun to bring back. Sonata #2 is in A major, also Opus 12 #2. And this one I last performed last summer for the Karas Duo tour that we did, California tour, where we did like 6 concerts up north and then down south. And I think there's even a rehearsal video of the first movement on my channel, so I'll link that in the description box below. Sonata number 3 is in E flat major. This one I do kind of know because I looked at, but I never performed because it was one of the options back when I was, you know, getting competition ready before my car accident. So haven't looked at any of these in like 8 years, but this piece I remember it's like one of the hardest ones for piano. And we decided to go with number 5 instead. That happened to be my signature at that time. So it'll be really fun to learn this one and to perform it. And because of the coronavirus, we don't know when that's gonna stop. If we do have, if we still have a coronavirus, all of these I am hoping to put on my Patreon live or YouTube live or Instagram live. So make sure to go follow me on my social media to see those. Sonata number 4 is in A minor, opus 23. This one, I don't even know how it goes. I feel like I did form analysis. Maybe, I don't even think I got this one in form analysis now that I think about it. Because it's so rarely played, it's the only one in A minor. I don't think I've even heard it in one of my studio classes, master classes. I haven't heard any of my friends' recitals. I haven't even heard at professional recitals. I don't think this one's performed very often. So I have to go listen to that. And then sonata number 5, which everyone knows, it's one of my favorites. It's a spring sonata in F major. This was my signature piece for a good like half decade. It was like my go-to piece. Like anyone was like, Grace, play something. It would be the spring sonata. Sonata number 6 is an A major. It's opus 30. It's the first one of that group of set, which is a set of 3. This one, I don't remember how it goes either. I think this one is more played than number 4, but I still don't remember how it goes because I don't know. None of my peeps played it. Number 7, this is my jam. This was my jam for a long time. That represented me in my like late teens. Like that was like my jam. Sonata number 7 in C minor. That's the number 2 of opus 30. I performed this for my master's recital. I performed with my brother who's basically a BFF. He's literally a brother from another mother kind of situation. He's like my favorite person in the world. That used to be our jam. That like, I don't know, when it comes to Beethoven, for me, I feel like C minor is his like language. You know, that's what the Beethoven Symphony number 5, like Beethoven Symphony number 5, like da 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 da. That cry, that storm and drum, that like, oh, that can only be described by, oh, is C minor. So that was like my language for like the longest time. I think I was just in angst in my late teens. And then number 8 is, I do know this one, don't like this one, but know this one. This is sonata number 8 in G major. And it's opus 30 number 3. It's the third one in that set. And it. I don't know, for me, I'm not a G major kind of girl. I'm a definite C minor. D minor is my jam. Maybe D major, but G major and A major is usually like like specifically G major is definitely not my thing. And you know what's funny is Tiffany, my pianist, the only thing she likes is freaking G major. So every Mozart that we played was G major, every high-end G major. Grace, let's do G major, let's do G major. It's always G major. So I've gotten a little more accustomed to it. The first year was like that, so I was like, okay, I kind of like, okay, I'm fine. But still not a big fan. I don't think it represents me quite yet. I don't know, maybe I've changed, who knows. But definitely I've never learned that one because I, you know, never liked that one, but whatever. But you know, new decade, new Grace, who knows, new project, woohoo, who knows, I might love it. Sonata number 9, now this one, sonata number 9, this is the one, this is the epic. This is like when you think Beethoven, the height of what Beethoven can do. I feel like Kreutzer, which is number 9, the code name for number 9, in A major, opus 47, that's where it's at. It starts like, it starts like a whole symphony, but with solo violin with like in a cadenza. The solo violin starts in a cadenza. It's amazing. It's brilliant. It almost feels like the end of the late period, Joy, but it's mid, it's opus 47. And all of this kind of beginning, middle, late period of Beethoven, I'll talk about in like a little breakdown for my Patreon people. So make sure to go check out those levels and pledge. For sure, this one is one that I wanted to perform for my first doctorate recital. That was, however, vetoed because my teacher wanted me to do number 10, which is the next one we're about to talk about, the Cockcrow, which is in G major, opus 96. I performed this one for my first doctorate recital. Wasn't a fan because guess what? It's freaking G major. But when I first heard that this is the one I was gonna do, I asked him what the opus number was. He said number 96. And I said, oh, Kreutzer is 47. So 96 must be like even more epic. Like his last string quartet, which I know was epic. Like the fugues, and that's it. Ooh, I'm so excited. I went home, got the music, got the score, listened to the music, and went, what the living F is this? It's so innocent and naive and cutesy and like, I was like, gross. I was literally at that time gross. I'm like, really? I have to, like this, the first recital has to represent who I am and I'm doing this? So I was not happy about it. I thought as a doctor student I had a say in that. I didn't in that piece. So I was forced to do it for like a god freaking year. And I think I hated this piece even more because I was forced to do it. I don't know. I was not in a G major kind of mood. I don't know. I don't think G major represented that time in my life. Like my grandma had just died like literally 2 months ago. Like before I was assigned this piece. I was like literally this was not my mood. This was not like where my spirit was at. I was forced to it. So I don't know. Who knows? You know, now it's 2020, a new decade. Who knows? I might be all about the cockcrow now. That sounded so weird. Never mind. So who knows? I might be all about the G Mage now. We'll see. We'll see how this progresses this year. But my goal is to finish this all by Beethoven's birthday, which is December 16th. So make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned. Go to my Patreon page to watch how this all unfolds. Joy. Day 1 video of the Beethoven project will be going up this weekend because I'm going to record it literally right now as soon as I'm done uploading this announcement video. That'll be here. Let's see how let's see how Beethoven Day 1 goes. I'm going to be using the Henley editions, and I will in the Patreon videos talk about all the different editions, why they're important, why people talk about Henley and Bärenreiter and International, and like what the differences are. So we'll go into that as this project progresses for the year. And make sure to go stay tuned on Patreon. Even if you're not a member, there are some posts that are public. I will make the official announcement for the second project. And trust me, that project, if you're a music lover, especially a violin lover, you want to be tuned in for that. You know, I'm honestly really excited to turn this kind of like negative, impactful kind of thing, this kind of season, into something that would be fertile soil for future, like for other things like the Beethoven project, the second project that's about to come out, and more YouTube videos. So definitely I'm going to spend all this free time that I newly have and dedicate it fully to bringing you content on YouTube, on Patreon, and on my vlogging channel, Grace the Violinista. So please make sure to subscribe and check out my Patreon page and go pledge, become a Patreon violin fam, because this is gonna be a great year. We're gonna make this into a great year. We're gonna take this and make this into a great year. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to turn on notifications, and until next time, peace.